So I'm really, really tired. I went with my uncle again. He's coming quite a lot recently. I don't really know why, because I don't know, I like the company, and I think with him, even though I know he doesn't believe that I'm God, because he is mentally ill, I feel like I can excuse him for that. Like if he doesn't believe me, I feel like it doesn't really matter, because I'm listening to what he says, I'm listening to how he talks, I'm listening to, he's obviously mentally ill. And therefore, if he doesn't believe that I'm God, it doesn't put me down. It doesn't put down my religion, um, because I feel like, well, he's obviously mentally ill, and therefore I feel like, in a way, I can excuse him for not believing me, because he's obviously mentally ill. He doesn't know what to believe. And I had my friend call me. I haven't seen him in quite a long time, and I think he was going to come. He wanted to see me yesterday and then today as well. But I've been with my uncle again, and I think he also wanted to see me last week when I was with my uncle again. So he seems to be, yeah, he's probably thinking, why am I putting my uncle first? But I think it is different between him and my friend, between my uncle and him. It's because my uncle, I don't really enjoy his company, because he it's like it's like Glory hanging out with some people who are mentally ill, and it's not fun. But at the same time, because he's mentally ill, I feel like I can't get angry, or I can't even blame him for not believing that I'm God. He's mentally ill, he doesn't know what to believe. Whereas with other people, I feel like, like with a friend, I'm just I do think, why doesn't he believe? Or the possibility that he does actually believe and he's just lying to me. I feel like it plagues my head. It's plaguing my head for a long time. And AJ Miller as well is I said to the Illuminati, or to the computer, should I say, and the people who I believe are watching it, that he is my false Christ. And for the last 12 years, he's being a false Christ. He's got some sort of religion that I don't agree with. The Antichrist is someone who comes with a sort of false religion, and I guess I always played him down as being someone who's not actually the Antichrist. The Antichrist is someone that has been created. I've said that in my past, like a few months ago. I was kind of making it clear that the Antichrist was this sort of fake Christ that the Catholic Church and the Christian Church have created. One that has magical powers, one that's God. The fake Christ, the Antichrist, is that of the Bible. But yeah, after meeting him, I feel like I have changed my view, because before I hadn't met him, I don't feel like I should judge someone unless I meet them, because I don't know what it is that I should believe. Does he know about me, and has he deliberately just been like, okay, I'm like this fake Christ, representation of her, but not really, like someone that has some similarities but very vague and is teaching the wrong things. That is what the Jesus character is. He's someone who came with false teachings, false belief, false love, whatever. But through his story, the Bible got created, and people know about Christ. And I know about myself because I read the Bible, and I think this Christ character, it seems to be going through what I'm going through, and it makes sense. So I know, I found out who I was because of the Bible. So I needed that Christ character, and I believe I've done 70 timelines, and I've always had a Jesus and who dies and comes back as AJ Miller. I've always had that. I don't know if the name AJ Miller has always been used, but I think so. Miller is just such a common, normal word. Not like Miller and Smith are like the two most common words for me, and therefore Miller or Smith would be. I think Smith is a bit too obvious. So if his name was Smith, I feel like that would just be like the sign from God that this guy is just an average Joe, because Smith is like very, very common, but Miller is kind of very second common and stuff. So but yeah, I think he always is called AJ Miller. Okay, it's not the same person, it's a different soul. The whole point of these timelines is to take dinosaur souls and then try and kind of convert them into intelligent souls through lots and lots of reincarnation, and the soul is basically just subconscious memory of all your different lives, whether you're a tortoise or a lion or a dog or something, and or lots of humans, and your soul is just created through lots and lots of subconscious memory of of your past, and therefore you can't correct it. You know, if you had a bad life, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to erase it and that life didn't happen. No, it will always be there. You can't change it. So his teachings about what a soul is completely wrong, and his teachings about love, just let it in. I mean, what the fuck? You don't just let it in. You have to, you have to, part of love is listening to the other person, respecting other people, and he doesn't do that. You know, he's got his views, his perspectives, and he just sticks with that. But yeah, I feel like I've done 70 timelines, and I feel like I've always had an AJ Miller. I feel like the Jesus and AJ Miller character have always been existing, even before, even on the timeline that I was made on, the timeline that the gods that made me through the generations, you know, they would always use this sort of, you know, you need to tell your mortal self that you are Christ, and the only way to do that is to get the people on earth to worship a type of Christ figure, so that when you start going through strange things, you can look at the religions and be like, oh, that's who I am, that's what I am. But yeah, I never thought that I was a male, and nor did I think that I've gone through that sort of whipping and that sacrifice that he went through, so I've never believed that. But I know it's AJ Miller, and I just, you know, I feel like in most of the timelines, he's always against me. He's always like not supposed to be on my side. He's supposed to be someone who comes with a false teaching, and it's supposed to have a very different view to me, and he's supposed to, you know, give people, the world, an option between me and him. But yeah, this AJ Miller is strange, because his views are just so wrong and so crazy, and you know, I'd definitely call him like king of the robots, and his belief in his Bible is definitely something that a human robot would worship, because it's so wrong. But it's just it's shocking how cold he was, and like how he didn't even want to talk to me, and it's low is the word. You know, I think his ability to connect to truth is so low, and his, you know, he's definitely on the inverted side. You know, there's an inverted spirit and a normal spirit, and okay, Islam is very inverted, like almost everything in Islam is very inverted. Jesus, though, the character in the Bible is not necessarily inverted, because there's some things that link to me, and there's some things that have truth to it. But when it comes to this AJ Miller, I just feel like it's not inverted, but it's not the truth, and it's not what I agree with, and I think it's just a little bit crazy, and it's yeah, I definitely think that I would want my people who believe that I'm God, I'm Christ, to when you first come and talk to me, I'm still believing that it's going to happen. Like I'm not even certain that it is going to happen. Are you ever going to talk to me, or are you just waiting for me to die? I don't know, but I feel like when it happens, when you come and talk to me, I would want AJ Miller to rise straight away, like maybe 3 days after or something. Like, come and talk to me, tell me who knows, because that meeting with him, or me meeting him and trying to talk to him, and him just having absolutely no interest. No, we don't talk. No, we don't talk to people. No, your beliefs are not true. You know, just very, very blunt in his complete belief that the Illuminati hates him and stuff, and it's just like, well, how do you know I'm not from the Illuminati? And then I definitely saw a very dark side in him, and I definitely think that he's not on the right side. He does have a spirit in him, but it's an inverted spirit, one that's and I think that is how I would want 144,000 people to just post something on their Instagram page or Facebook page about how they believe he's the Jesus of Nazareth, and then don't do anything. Don't say anything. If people want to interview him or whatever, they can do. But I feel like if you know about me, don't give him any money. If you want to do an interview of him, you can, but try and work it around, like give him a kind of shitty hotel to stay in or something like that. Like be certain that you believe he's Jesus, but also be certain that there's something off. He's going to notice something's off, because that's what the Jesus character is. It's an antichrist. It's a false Christ, and I don't know. I believe in a lot of the timelines that I have. The antichrist actually works with the main Christ, even though they have different beliefs. I feel like in some timelines he just knows that I'm like Eve, and he just kind of believes that I'm Eve, but but continues just preaching his own tellings. But in this timeline, doesn't even want to know. I mean, I think he's going to want to know at one point, but I think because my hair was just frizzing up and I looked so ugly, and I think he would just saw me as nothing, and but yeah, I don't care, because I care about people who care about me, and he made it clear that he didn't care about me. I think his partner does have a much stronger connection to the truth, but I think the truth is telling her that she needs to back him up and support him. But yeah, I don't know. A part of me feels like she's trying to work for the greater good, and I think she knows that this is the greater good, even if it's not going to end well for him. And I just feel like it's not going to end well for him. But the problem is meeting him and realizing that he isn't part of an Illuminati. He's not a part of an awakened Illuminati. He's part of the Illuminati, because a group Illuminati is just lots of people doing lots of things that all coincide with each other and link to each other. Only the people themselves don't realize. Like, you can have two different people making two different music videos, and they end up being released on the same day just out of coincidence, and these two songs kind of back each other up or link each other, or this is the Illuminati. Or even in different times, one 10 years ago, one year ago, but at the same time I will find them at the same time. And it's that's what the Illuminati is, just lots of people doing stuff, seeking knowledge, but there being like a higher power that kind of links all these things together. But yeah, the people themselves, I don't know who's a robot and who's not. Like, AJ Miller is like a robot, and there's a spirit that's deceiving him into thinking that he's special, and that he needs to preach, and that he shouldn't listen to what other people are saying because he's the special one, and it's lying to him. The spirit is lying to him because he's not actually that special. He's not actually bringing truth. And but yeah, I'm just sure on most of the timelines I have a bit of a slight connection with them, and on this timeline I'm not going to have any connection with him, and I don't even want to. I would like to see what would happen if I literally just got lots of people to promote him as being the real Jesus and then just did nothing. I'm sure there might be people that come forward and want to talk to him or have an interview with him and trying to work out why it is that thousands of people have just promoted. But the thing is, I can't even say that this will happen because I don't know who actually knows about me. And if he definitely doesn't, then it makes me wonder, what about like the Saudi prince, who I think could be Muhammad, reincarnated? Does he know about me, or does he know that he represents inversion? Or has he had many lives and is now grown and now more spiritually mature? You become spiritually mature by having lots of different lives, and therefore I think he was the one who gave me a phone, which is a much better gift than this book of rubbish that this guy gave me. So that to me felt more welcoming. I feel like if I meet someone who has been against me for the last 10 years, but if they treat me with respect, and if they treat me like either they know about me or maybe they don't know about me, but spiritually they are aware. Sometimes I meet people that say certain things, and it's almost like their spirit knows who I am. Their consciousness doesn't, but their spirit does. Like me trying to get someone in the jacuzzi to say to look me in the eye and tell me I'm not God. And sometimes I've had a conversation like this, and I've tried to get that person to look me in the eye and tell me I'm not God, and they can't do it. They don't believe that I'm God, but they can't say, no, you're not God. And I'm just like, why? This happened once. Like, why can you not say it to me? And he just said, because he couldn't even answer the question. So I just, some people have a spirit in them that links to the truth, and even though their consciousness doesn't recognize the truth, their spirit does, and it gets them to say certain things and stuff. And yeah, with AJ, I just definitely felt like his spirit was actually inverted. So he would say the opposite of the truth. He would happily say in front of a crowd of people that no one in this room is equal to God or above God, even though God was in the room. I think he would do that because his inverted spirit, it says the opposite of what the truth is. And, I think a lot of things that he said are not necessarily the opposite of the truth, but some things he said are opposite. Most was just things that I don't agree with, but a lot of it was just some of it was, quite a lot of it was opposite of what I agree with. And And yeah, especially when it comes to God the Father, his preaching about God the Father, I feel is opposite. But it's making me wonder. I believe that Britney Spears does not know anything about me, um, and I don't know who else. Does Paris Hilton know? Like, I've seen so many things to suggest that she does, but I'm not too sure if it's her consciousness or if it's just her spirit that's trying to link with me and trying to prove that she does know, even though, and I just, you know, I need to meet with people, or I need to meet with someone who knows the answer, who knows and who doesn't. How many people are on my side? How many people are consciously making videos about me? I mean, it's been such a long time, and the videos the songs that they've released over the last 12 years, a lot of them have so much energy and so much, excitement. And I was feeling that at the Wave. 6 years ago, I was feeling all these different excitements, all the good things that are about to happen to my life. I'm going to change, I'm going to have a much better life, and it just didn't happen. And now I'm just so tired that I just want to die. Like, I don't have any energy. I don't have any energy to make good films or make good songs. And I feel like in the last 3 years or something that the quality of the songs seem different. They're not quite as vibrant as what they were. But I just want to know the answer on how many people know. Does the Pope know? I don't know. And because I can't understand why people are ignoring me. Is Paris Hilton been paid by the Illuminati to not talk to me? But that doesn't make sense, because she's rich. She wouldn't have to say, okay, yeah, I'll take your £1 million and I'll not talk to her. Something is making her not talk to me, and it could be that she doesn't know. And I don't know. I really don't know why it is that no one is talking to me. No one's sending any Facebook messages, no one's trying to email me, no one's contacting me through YouTube or anything, nothing. The only people, I get a couple of comments from mad people, and that's about it. Or a couple of people who want to go out with me, and me telling them that I'm God. Oh yeah, that's fine, yeah, we can go out. No, I don't know. I didn't believe that AJ did know about me, though. I thought there was a chance, and hence that's why I kind of kept wanting to not call him the Antichrist, because I didn't want to just assume that he doesn't know. But yeah, after seeing this, after meeting him, I'm just like, yeah, he definitely doesn't know about me. So because of that, though, I'm far more tempted to call him him the Antichrist too. I mean, even though the fake Jesus is, is the real, the one that the Catholic churches and the Christian churches have created, this godlike figure. I know that that's the one that is formed in the Bible. That's the fake Jesus. But AJ Miller's bad. He's just as bad, and I don't know what's going to happen when the church falls, because are they going to turn to him? Are they going to see him as the truth? Because I feel like his teachings are so false that I don't, I think if an AJ Miller would have come preaching, about equality or about useful skills, there's a whole list of things that people go to schools to teach about: self-confidence, self-worth, just brownie skills or something. If an AJ Miller, I'm sure I've done 70 timelines, and different AJ Millers have come with different skills and stuff, and I think the type of AJ Miller that you get on each of my 70 timelines really is a reflection of how bad the population is. And his preaching seems so ridiculous that I can't believe anyone would believe it. But the fact that he is preaching what he's preaching, and I feel like that's just a sign that there must be so many robotic humans, humans that just don't think, and humans are just happy to nod and say, oh, okay, and then not ask any questions at the end. I mean, there were people asking questions. At the end, there were questions being asked, but I couldn't understand what the questions were, or I couldn't hear them. It's like they would ask the question, and I would just say, that's a stupid question, and then I'll try and think back at what the question was, and then I'll just forget the question, because the questions were just, I don't know, it was almost like they were questioning him based on the assumption that he's right about everything, and I don't even know what the questions were. Like, they didn't make any. They didn't. I couldn't remember them. When you're trying to remember things and you just find that it just goes in one ear and straight out the other, I can't even tell you what the questions were, because I can't remember, and I couldn't take in what he was saying because it just sounded like a bunch of nonsense. But he has been preached by this inverted spirit to preach this, because obviously I think it shows a reflection on how bad the population is.